looked at details on this bullfight pass. Let's just add in a few more layers. So again, we know not to go past the toe line. I want to make the grips. Again, it just depends on the cut of the gi. I do like inside, but sometimes if they're wearing a tight gi, I might have to go to the outside or at the top. It just depends. Sometimes if they have a competition gi, you'll not be able to make any of those grips. I'm going to look at no gi grips that you can make as well. But we did talk last time about how the gi grip is more robust and I can use it to pin cars knee to them at and cut an angle. Let's talk a wee bit more deeper about cutting the angle. So I don't go past the toe line, I make the grips. Yes, I do want to get an angle, there's no doubt about it. I'm just sidestepping. But again, the problem area with the bullfight pass is like the knee cut pass, it's the reverse Danaher hook. So if I take a step and I try to cut an angle, Carl can put that reverse Danaher hook in. And again, we don't want to be going down the barrel having to address connection. We will cover this later in the mesocycle if that happens. So I think a good, let's concentrate on the footwork a wee bit more. So when I make those grips, the first step is a side step, the second step is a back step. Okay? Taking myself away from the reverse Danaher hook. So it's a side step and a back step. A side step and a back step. So option one is, if Carl isn't very good at jiu-jitsu, that leg, that back step, is just dropping straight into the knee on belly. Again, I want my shin across his belly. I want my right foot clamped to his left hip, and for the sake of the drill, we can just control the belt and the shoulder. Keep this leg back a little bit. I don't want him underhooking it. So that's option one. Let's look at that again. Don't go past the toe line. Anytime I try to pass the guard and I enter the toe line, we're into this connection business and we don't want to be having to deal with that. So making those grips, the side step, the back step, knee on belly. That's option one. Option two, he's a wee bit more wary of what I'm doing and he'll frame. So when I make the grips, I'm going to take that step. I back step, but now Carl's hands in boxing hand position and I physically can't get my shin across his belly. Even the hip is no good. So instead of going in front of the hip, we're going to go behind the hip. Even from here, if I sidestep and back step, and Carl just pushes on my knee, just with you see the way he's made wedges? Watch what happens to those wedges when I drop my knee behind his hip. They're no good. That is just him pushing, making wedges on my knee. Both hands, bro. Can stop that. But watch what happens when I bring my knee to here. There is no more. You know, this pushing is just not really doing anything for him. But he can still push upper body. So once I get to here, I'm just going to put weight on him. Now we want to collapse those frames. Collapsing frames is just all about angle. So one way of doing it, so this is option two, is I just take this profile away. I make him carry my weight, and then I'll just turn towards north side. Now I collapse those frames and start working stuff from there. Let's take a look at that again. So option two, just from his feet flat on his back flat on the mat. I make the grips, I don't go past the toe line, I sidestep and back step. I go for one, and now I can't get my knee on his belly, so I drop it behind his hip, and I just shove that, put weight in it. We talked about what I want to be doing with the knees last time, so when I step and back step, I'm pushing this far knee to the hip line, the knee that's closest to me to the center line. If I draw a line down the middle of Carl, that knee's getting pushed towards the center line. A line across his hips is getting pushed to the knee line. So again, I make my grips, I take the step. I back step, I don't need to do anything, I just come into knee on belly, that's option one. Option two, he's framing. So that knee's getting pushed, this one's getting shoved, and I drop my knee behind his hip. Now I just put weight on him, on the chest. Perfect, yep. So now from there, I can just collapse that frame. Notice the way when I'm flat with Carl, there's connection. Watch what happens when I turn. I just remove that. My body was there, I've now turned it. So he's pushing into, just there's no connection. That's option two. Option three, I can collapse those frames another way. So I make grips, one, two, I drop down, Carl pushes on me, so this time I'll come under them. That makes sense. I can attacking. So on the second one, I was here, I turned my body this way, so my chest is facing away from him. On that one, I just turned my body the other way, so he's no profile, and then I can come up and start attacking those frames. So you have three options in there: knee on belly, collapsing his frames moving to north-south, or collapsing his frames moving underneath the arms. If I did hesitate and I was here, just going back to the 5 steps of guard passing, when I make those grips, car that I hang around here can make grips on me and start working his spider hooks, play escape from there. Now, anything I've just showed you isn't going to work. Why? Because he's what? Connections. So we need to deal with that. Keep it this way. The best way is, watch, removing connections is just doing the opposite of what he's trying to do. He's bringing my elbows out. So it makes sense that I want to bring my elbows in. He brings them out, I bring them in. Now I can just remove that profile. Notice the way Carl's got the soles of his feet on my body or my arms. I can just basically stuff them to them on. If he sits up, I can just push him back down again, and we're back into the same routine again. You know? If he's not framing, I have side control. If he is framing, I can move underneath those frames. One other thing that might happen, doesn't happen too much, if I do make grips and I haven't kept my legs back far enough, sometimes he'll hook here. Okay, that can cause issues, but sometimes you can just basically push down. I wouldn't recommend, jumping in the mount. Okay, possibly if he's hooks, I'll stuff them, and now see the way Carl's set up, jiu-jitsu, I will use part of my body to flatten them out, which will probably be my shoulder. Now from there, flatten them. Good players will though start to frame. So now from there, I'll be putting weight and pressure on him, and then I just turn the corner. If that makes sense. So if he's pushing on my shoulder, relax, lie flat, two hands, be lazy. So once I stuff that, watch, all I'm doing is just turn your body. You know, anytime somebody's pushing on you, just turn your body in the opposite direction. So one more time on that. So the sequence is, option 1, make the grips, side step, back step, knee on belly. That's 1. Option 2, side step, back step, but now from here he stopped that, so I bring my knee behind the hip, but I want to move these out of the way, so I push that to the far side. That's to the center line. Now all he's doing is pushing with his arms. Just depends, you'll feel where they are. Sometimes I might come over. In this instance he's quite high on my shoulder, so I'll probably come under and control that hip. If I'm here and I back step, side step, he's framing again, I push down, sometimes I will and if he's making connection, which shouldn't happen because you should be passing straight away, but if he does and he's got grips, I'm making my grips, I don't want my elbows out, I'm bringing my elbows in, and I'm backing away and stuffing his feet to the mat. Again, more than likely from that position, as Carl's sitting up, I'd probably be trying to collapse him down with that, with the spike of my shoulder. So again, from that position, I can start to press him, or I can step over. Anytime you step over when he makes hooks, okay, I stuff them. It depends on his reaction. If he's lying flat on his back, yes, I can go, but more than likely he's sitting up, which means I'm using my shoulder to push him down. If that makes sense. Okay, so